So, quick recap of today's video. I basically did a city tour of here in Split, Croatia, where I kind of learned about how the city came to be. It's kind of started as a pleasure, like a retirement town fortress for Emperor Diocletian, and like the early history and all that with the Catholic Church and the basically the martyrdom of Saint Dominus. He was like an early bishop of this area. So I learned their story and how that helped kind of form like the Catholic Church in this area amongst the Croatian people too, and ties to that. There's other like Catholic tidbits in there. Also, just like the after after the Roman Empire fell, and basically this area kind of got dominated by the Venetians in like the Middle Ages up until Napoleon. And after Napoleon was defeated, the Austrians kind of took over, and then the Yugoslav era. And then I kind of learned about like little history about like the whole Game of Thrones stuff is filmed here, so there's some interesting bits about that, which I found kind of fun. Um, then after that, I went and tried some local food. I ate like the sea bass, and I'm not a big fish person, but this was actually probably one of the best fish I ate at a restaurant called Fife. And then I just went and did like a walk to get a good view of the city. And yeah, that was about it for today. So got to learn about Split. Pretty cool spot. Definitely recommend a visit to the place. Probably wouldn't come in the summer because it's like this is probably the best time around like mid-April. The weather's like perfect right now. And there's less tourists. I mean, there's already a lot of tourists now, but I heard it's overwhelming in the summer. They could have like cruise ships that could like unload like 15,000 people. So this would be the time to come and visit, especially if you're just gonna like walk around and like learn about the history of the place. So, well, enjoy the video. All right, so I survived the night last night. I wasn't really expecting to go out, but Split was really welcoming, I suppose. So I was like, why not? So yeah, good times. But I'm alive. I didn't lose anything, and it was fun from what I can remember. Yeah, the city of Split though kind of has like a Italian feel because I think a lot of the old part of the city was built by the Venetians or during whenever Split was under Venetian control. So if you think we're in Italy, then that's we're actually in Croatia. We're in like the Italian influenced part of Croatia. Call it that. All right, so I have a walking tour at 2 o'clock. It's kind of like showing what the square looks like here. We got some buskers. There's a lot of tourists. I think cruise ships come here and just like disgorge tourists here. So I need to go get some cash, run some errands, do some laundry. Yeah, you could see. Oh my god, those things just. I'm just like amazed with the cruise ships. They're just like massive. I think they're kind of gross in a way, but I'm like fascinated by them. And there's a part of me that just wants to do a cruise just to see what it's like, see how the whole mechanism operates, I suppose. But yeah, this area has like local vendors, I think, selling stuff like art. I think they got local food, different types of food here. Toys for the kitties. It's really pretty. So it's a nice day today. All right, I need to get some coffee and some food in me. It's like already going to be noon, so some water too. I need to find like a grocery store or something. Yeah, here's some views from the, I think it's called Esplanade, the walkway along the waterfront. Yeah, it looks cool. The cruise ships. Really yellow and really, really good. It's starting to bloom. So yellow plant is the name of Malatus, converted to Croatian split, name of our city. So that's why it's good to be here to tell you this history about this beautiful flower. Because if you were here 1 month ago, it was really nothing in particular. Because now it's starting to be more beautiful and more yellow. Let's go now to that map over there. I'll go really slowly. So Split was named after this plant. It's it's name in Croatian is translates to English to split. So if you ever wonder how I got this funny name, it's because of this plant here. I think she said it was called asphalat. I don't know. I don't know if I recorded that earlier, but all right. Okay, so the city of Split started out as a kind of a retirement home for Emperor Diocletian. He was one of the first emperors to actually step down, abdicate the throne, and this is what he built for himself. You can see there. This is like some of the old walls from Roman Empire times, about 2,000 years ago, and the wall continues and extends itself over here. And this is where the water, like down here, the water used to go up to the palace. So you can see the Roman columns there. Yeah, and it extends. And now we're gonna go actually enter the subterranean entrance, the sea gate. And our tour guide said that they used the bottom part that we're gonna see now for a scene in Game of Thrones. It's where Daenerys was training her, or she first encountered the dragons. So it should be cool. I'm kind of now I kind of stumbled through there last night, so now I'm like knowing where everything's at. So it's gonna be kind of cool. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that this all used to be water right here too. People can build stuff over time for sure. Okay, we're entering the sea gate now. This looks familiar. I'm gonna actually rewatch that episode, I guess. We're walking further in. Some structure. So the dragons were here between the columns, the CGI dragons, I guess. So this palace is constructed by Greek slaves in the third century AD. So it's about 1700 years old, roughly. And I guess it was preserved so well because when they were building houses in the 19th and early 20th century, the construction waste was just thrown down here. So for like a century, this is just preserved from that. So that kind of worked out. And yeah, they started uncovering it in the 1950s and they finished it in the 1960s. So this is only available up into the 1960s. So Diocletian was a worshiper of the old Roman gods. He worshipped Jupiter, and he was totally against like Christianity. So the city honors Saint Dominus. He's there in that statue there, and he was killed as a martyr. Um, well, I guess in that case, that's pretty interesting. So way over there, beyond the boats, is the island of Broch. That's where they mine the quarry, the limestone you see here. They built the palace out of. Came from the island. There's so many gates here. So this is like a little boutique hotel built here in the walls. Oh, wow, so cool. Careful. So that was like an example of traditional Dalmatian singers. So the they're people from the coastline here, and it kind of sounds similar to like Latin or Italian music. There's a bit of imperial loot here from, I guess the Romans brought that over from Egypt, so it's kind of interesting. Hey, look, Melinda, there's a wiener dog. It's crazy to think like basically this whole city was built just for one person. I don't know. It's kind of insane. And all these people for centuries lived in the rubble. I mean, we're still living in the rubble, I guess. Sorry. So the street was used as a location in Game of Thrones. Just saying. Might have to check this place out. Looks kind of cool. Oh, here's the Game of Thrones store. It's open. It might be closed now. Oh, there's another one. That's funny. We're plotting on my part. I was here on a Sunday. Like very good Catholic country. This place basically shuts down. This is the first restaurant here in the city, 1776, and that's the first hotel, that brown building there, that one. Oh, cool. So that green building was the first bookshop. Oh, wow. So that's the garbage truck. So this tower is built by the Venetians as a defense against Ottoman raids. At the time, the Ottoman Empire, the Turks were expanding into trying to expand in the region, and the Venetians were at constant war with them at the time. So this is probably like in the 14th, 15th century. So yeah, the Venetians controlled this territory. So and sometimes they used the palace, but I think that was the guy just said that was built as a separate structure, not from palace material. So I'm going to enter the Cathedral of St. Dominus right now. So this is the square in front of it. It's pretty busy. There's the Sphinx, which is like 3,400 years old or something. It's kind of crazy. So I have to buy a ticket. It costs €6. So, all right. So I'm entering the front bit. Oh, wow, that's kind of scary. It's really pretty. Got these like columns and everything. All right, I'm entering the cathedral now. Yeah, I love the waterfront and all the little boats here. It's so cool. There's a part of me that's like thinks boating and being out on sea is like really interesting and fun, but then there's a part of me that's really scared of the ocean. Just really powerful, strong thing. No, these are cool. These little boats. All right, so I'm taking the steps to go to the viewpoint. I think I'm probably gonna call it after that once I get a good view of the city. So I did the walking tour, went to the cathedral, and yeah, tried some local sea bass. So just kind of burnt out today. Be traveling 8 hours tomorrow on the train, so hopefully it's a little bit relaxing. Yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to climbing. Ugh, kind of spent. Looks like somebody's feeding the kitties here. Who's feeding you guys? Yeah, it's rough. Hey, there's the cruise ships. And the poor old town gets filled with all these tourists getting off the ships. Yeah, that's an island on the other side of the bay there. Yeah, it's probably me wrapping it up today, I think, but these views going down are just gorgeous. Split, it was nice to get a little taste of you. Maybe you'll come back someday. We'll find out.